If you have never felt that you were surrounded to your left and to your right and you were not getting anywhere, and this message definitely is not for you. If you've never been through anything in your life, take out your phone, Facebook, tweet, look at the Olympic medal score. This message is not for you. Yet, this message is for those that understand that we have a breakout anointing. Not only do we have a breakout anointing, the common factor, the common denominator in these biblical narratives is simple. That they were both confined, they both developed or executed a prophetic posture. They both did things. They prompted heaven to touch their earth, and heaven showed up, and they experienced it. They broke out, they experienced a breakthrough. But what happened is, in both occasions, the doors that were before them opened up in their favor. So I'm here to tell you right now, that if you feel like Peter and Paul, if you have gone through a season where you felt confined, limited, obstructed, hindered, if you felt like you weren't getting anywhere, if you felt that your marriage was locked up, your home was locked up, your destiny was locked up, your ministry was locked up, your anointing was locked up, your emotions were locked up, I have news for you. By the time this conference is over, not only are you breaking out, but every door before you will open in your favor. All at once. Look at your neighbor, tell him all at once. Look at your other neighbor, tell him all at once. Tell him all at once. All at once. That's crazy stuff if you get it. All at once. All at once. Those doors are about to open in your favor all at once. Oh, I gotta hurry. So real quick, we're gonna just exegetically do a comparative analysis of Peter and Paul, and then we're gonna go put and by. Okay, so let me just break it down for you real quick. For the first thing you gotta do is you got to break out from the spirit of Herod. Herod Agrippa, he must have been Hispanic, Mexican from Monterrey. Agrippa. Everybody say Agrippa. Agrippa. Herod Agrippa was the one that this Herod Agrippa was the grandson of the Herod that persecuted baby Jesus and the nephew of the Herod that executed John the Baptist. Never call your kid Herod. Never call your daughter Jezebel. There are things you don't do. So the first Herod went after Jesus. The second Herod goes after John the Baptist. The third Herod now is going after the saints, the disciples, the first Christian. But the first Christians, you need to understand is that Herods, they persecute, they prosecute, and they execute. And the spirit of Herod is still alive. The spirit of Herod is still alive. Herod wants to take away your freedom. And he persecutes you, he prosecutes you, and he attempts to execute you. The spirit of Herod is still alive. That spirit of carnage and violence and execution. We've seen that in America recently, even in the past couple of weeks in Wisconsin and Colorado. The spirit of Herod is still alive. But we are here today to declare that there is a spirit more powerful than the spirit of Herod. We are here to declare that the most powerful spirit is not the one that persecutes and prosecutes and executes. The most powerful spirit is the one that redeems and renews and restores and revives and regenerates and reconciles and resurrects. We are here at Manpower to declare to America that the most powerful spirit alive is not the spirit of Herod. It is the spirit of Almighty God. You got to break out from the spirit of Herod. Now, I got to break this down for you a bit now. So Herod comes along and viene Herodes con su locura y hace unas cosas. And he comes along, and after arresting him, he put him in prison, handing him over to be guarded by 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. Somebody say 4 times 4. What is that? 4 times 4? 16. 16. So Herod comes along and he comes after Peter, and he assigns 16. Y'all got to help me out here because I don't get this part. 16 Now hold on a second. This is not Osama bin Laden. And it's not Pablo Escobar. Why in the world would Herod channel so many resources, 16 men, to guard a fisherman from Galilee? Somebody's about to get this in a few seconds. Why in the world would Herod assign 16 soldiers for a fisherman? Why? Because you see, this is how we break out. Peter had a reputation that preceded him. And it wasn't even his in the first place. It had to do little with him and everything with the one that Peter followed. You're not getting this right now. No, get this. Peter had a reputation that preceded him. Why would Herod assign 16 men to guard Peter? There's a reason why. Herod was privy to the fact that Peter followed the man. Peter had a rabboni. Peter had a master. Peter had a boss who one day he was flogged, a crown of thorns on his head. He was nailed to a cross. He was pierced on the side. Water and blood came out. He was wrapped in linen. He was placed in a tomb. They put a rock in front of the tomb. Oh, and a little minor detail. The man was dead, and on the third day, he still broke out. You're not getting this. You're going to get it in a second. In other words, we're going to assign 16 men, because if Peter is anything like his Messiah, anything like his... If Peter is anything like his Lord, his Messiah, his boss, Herod was expecting a breakout. Sometimes the devil has greater expectations for us than we do for ourselves. When you see all hell rise against you, when you see 16 soldiers, when you're surrounded to your left and to your right, and you feel things are locking you in, it only means one thing. The devil knows that God's about to do something awesome in your life. He struck him. He struck him. And he tells him, quick. You all right?
Yeah, he's all
right. Oh, you got a little bit more right here. You got a little bit better here, right here, baby. Quick, get up. And he said, quick, get up. And then he tells him, put on your sandals and follow me. This is crazy stuff, because Peter had no idea, by the way. Read it. Peter, is this a vision? Is this a dream? Is this too much Starbucks? What in the world's happening here? I mean, what's happening? And Peter gets up, and he gets up, and he says, and put on your sandals. By the way, put on your sandals is kind of unique. It's an anomaly. It's not your normal modus operandi, because in the Old Testament, every time an angel or a divine presence had an encounter with people, they would never say put them on. They would always say, take them off. Take off your sandals. This is holy ground. Take off your sandals. Where I am taking you, you've never been there before. But now in the new covenant, it's no longer take them off, it's put them on. In other words, in the old covenant, it was about looking at the glory. In the new covenant, I don't want you looking at the glory. Walk in the glory. Walk in the word. Walk in your destiny. Walk in the promise. Quick! Get up! Tell your neighbor, stop talking about it and walk it in. Tell them, stop looking at it and walk it in. Stop complaining about it and walk it in. Tell your neighbor, put on your sandals. Quick, get up. Put on your sandals. Quick, get up. He says, follow me, like he's never heard those words before. Like Peter's never heard follow me before. Oh, follow me. Follow me. He called him, no, Lord, I haven't caught. You catch anything? I haven't caught anything all night. Here, follow me. All of a sudden, the harvest. Follow me. Empty tomb. He followed John and found follow me. Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? I love you, Lord. And follow me. So it says follow him. And so Peter starts walking and he doesn't really know where he's going. Read it. I mean, he's a little bit disoriented. Is this real? Is this a vision? Is this what? So he's walking and he doesn't really know. He doesn't have all the details. Listen, men, sometimes we ask for too much. Sometimes we want to walk only when we have every I dotted and every T crossed. Sometimes we want to know the what, the when, the where, the why, the what. I don't care if you don't know the when, the where, the what, the why. As long as you know the who, you need to walk. Look at your neighbor. Tell him, walk, Peter, walk. Tell him like you believe it. Tell him, walk, Peter, walk. Tell your other neighbor, walk, Peter, walk. 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 Walk, Peter, walk. You break out with unbridled obedience. Even when you don't have all the details. Even when all the boxes are not filled in, you need to walk. May not know necessarily where you're at. As long as you follow. I'm just walking. I'm just walking. I'm just walking. He walked, and he passed one set of guards, another set of guards. On your way out, you will always see some threats. On your way out, you will experience some threats. If you have had some things recently stand up and begin to threaten you, if I were you, I'll break out in a dance. It only means you're about to break out and go through the open door that God has already laid out for you. I'm going to finish in a second. The moment they began to sing, it's one thing, real simple. You can't dance in the promised land until you learn how to sing in the desert. I'm going to say that one more time. You can't dance in the promised land until you learn how to sing in the desert first. Watch this, watch this, watch this. They began to sing and they began in the midnight hour. You all know the story. And they sang, but it wasn't just singing. It's not just about what you think, the vociferous expression that comes out of your vocal cords, expanding and contracting, as we call. No, I'm not talking about that. They sang their song. There was a song that was birthed in the midst of their pain. There was a song that was birthed in the midst of their agony. In the midst of the hurt, they sang a song. And the moment they released that song, even those that were around them, they heard the song. The earth began to shake. The foundation shook. The chains fell off. And all the doors opened all at once. When a man, I'm not talking about, again, superficial, extraneous, super hyper emphasis on vociferous expression, be it out of emotional exuberance or some sort of spiritual kind of, no. It's simple. When a man who has been through something sings his song, it doesn't just free you. When someone hears your song, when those around you hear your song, when they hear the song that came out of your darkest hour, when they hear the song that came out of your darkest pain, when they hear the song when you were broken, busted, and disgusted, when that song comes out, when that praise comes out, not only will it free you, but everyone around you will be free. a song inside of every man who has been through a process. There is a song inside of every man who has been bruised, who has been wounded. When your song comes out and others hear it, they will experience deliverance. You need to understand this. There's something dangerous about a man who has been wounded and who has been healed. When the Mongol leader stood up and looked at his commanders and addressed them, he looked at them and said this: when confronting the enemy army, look for the men that have scars. Avoid them at all costs. Look for those that have no scars, because the ones with scars that are still fighting means that they know how to fight and they have survived. Anybody here been through something in their lives? Raise your hand. Anybody here been through some serious stuff? Raise both hands. If you've been through some serious stuff, some stuff you don't even want to think about, raise both hands and a foot. But if somehow God saw you through and you broke out and you're here in this place, give God a shout of praise. Tell your neighbor, there is a song inside of you that was birthed in your darkest hour. There is a song inside of you that was birthed in the midst of your pain. When that song comes out, every chain around us will fall off. Look at your neighbor, tell him, sing your song. Sing your song. Tell them, don't look at me. Sing your song. 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 Release that praise. Sing your song. Let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out. 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 Sing your song. Sing your song, manpower. Sing your song. Let others hear your song. Look at your neighbor right now and tell him, I need you to sing with me. Now again, you need to share. That's why the fraternity, the covenant brotherhood, you need to find a silence in your life. You need to have somebody sing with you. Somebody who can share the good, the bad, and the ugly with. You need to find somebody who won't throw you under the bus. You need to find somebody. You need to get rid of the haters and the naysayers, the doubters and the skeptics. Your horizontal relationships have vertical consequences. I'm going to say that one more time for the hearing impaired. Your horizontal relationships have vertical consequences. You may not smoke yourself, but if you hang around people that smoke, you can actually get emphysema, lung cancer, the same diseases. It's called secondhand smoke. You may never have picked up a cigarette, but if you're hanging around with people that speak more about the hell that you went through rather than the heaven you're going to, you need to get rid of them and find somebody who will sing your song.